Welcome back on Chronicle Live. Time for a little sports and the law. And for that, we always enlist the services of Steve Moskowitz. How you been?
Good.
Good to have you on board. And, you know, it seems like every week we're like, okay, what are we going to talk about? And then somebody goes and does something really stupid, and it makes this segment genius. And
I call it Athletes in Trouble. That's my major segment.
Athletes in trouble as opposed to athletes being stupid?
Well, you know, right now, people have challenges. It's amazing what people do. And yeah, they do some things they shouldn't upon reflection.
Well, we're going to talk about Braylon Edwards, the New York Jets wide receiver, on Tuesday morning arraigned on DWI charges. Now, it's called DUI in most states, DWI in New York. So that's really just a technicality of the alphabet soup. But
no, New York has a separate two-tier system. They have
really?
DUI and DWI. DWI is the more serious. That's the .08. DUI is if you're .7 or less. It's a lesser charge. But what you said is true in almost all the other states. And here in California, it's DUI at .08. If it's lesser, though, the officer can make a decision if you're impaired. It basically goes back to the old rule. But in New York, it's different.
See, and I lived in New York, but I never got busted for any DUI or DWI, so thankfully I didn't need to know any of that. And no intentions of that anytime soon either. Braylon Edwards, apparently, another idea. What really is a shame about this is it's come out that NFL players have the option of just making a phone call and having somebody come and get them. And that's really what just barks of stupidity in my mind, especially for a guy who's on probation in Cleveland and now could be facing some fallout from that.
Yes, he could. The problem is he's been drinking, and maybe he didn't use the best judgment, but then again, most people don't when they've been drinking, and we have a problem. Under the contract, he can't be suspended because of the alcohol. It has to be a drug offense. However, under the morals clause, he can go. So basically, if you're doing the time, why sometimes might not matter as much. Not to mention the potential fines the commissioner can put on him.
Yeah, well, twice the legal limit. I'm sure that got Roger Goodell's attention. He is going to play this weekend, however, will not start in the game against Miami. Do you think long-term he could end up back in jail because of the probation violation in Cleveland?
It's possible. Once again, the lawyer's going to do the work. It's going to be in the back room because, in essence, in theory, when you're on probation, if you violate anything else, you go back to your original sentence. But sometimes when we're doing that, we go in and try to make another deal, and I'm sure that's what his lawyer is going to try to do.
Now, if you were defending Braylon Edwards, he says that he quizzed the officer about why he wasn't given a field sobriety test, said that they have to do that first in Michigan. And hearkening back to my days in New York and driver's education class, I don't know if the law has changed, but that was what they taught us, that they did have to give a field sobriety test first. So is there a chance, if the officer didn't do that, that this thing could get thrown out?
Most likely not, because in some states they'll use that to see if the officer thinks he should step it up. In other states they don't. They go right to it. Also, the officers have a lot of discretion. So, you know, we do have a problem here, and then it's a question of, you know, his behavior and the cooperation, but he has the limit. And he also has the background. Like, look, he was drinking with Dante when Dante killed that person. He's been around the wrong place at the wrong time.
Of course, going back to Dante Stallworth, yeah, you're right, he has been. He questioned why he was stopped for having tints if the driving didn't lead the officer to pull him over in the first place. Is there anything there?
That's where you get the probable cause, because the officer needs a reason to just stop you, but usually the officer will find something for probable cause, but it's something the lawyers can argue about.
All right. Well, Steve Moskowitz, thanks for stopping by.
My pleasure.
You never know what's going to come up.
Never can tell.
What's the name of the segment again, as opposed to Sports and the Law?
Athletes in Trouble.
Athletes in Trouble and lawyers who get them out of it. Appreciate for stopping by, Steve. Hey, we're taking our final time out here on Chronicle Live, but when we come back, you've been enjoying them throughout the show. We're going to meet beautiful girls and hear from them one last time after this timeout. Stay with us on Chronicle Live.